Okay, first thing you need to do is create some additional worksheets. Because in our investigation, what you'll need to do is have a worksheet for raw data. You'll need to have a kind of a front end to your spreadsheet model. So you'll need a contents page, and you'll also need a worksheet to answer each of the 4 questions that Mr. No Idea has set you. So to add a new worksheet, you just right-click, insert, select worksheet, and then just click OK, and you've got a new worksheet. To rename the worksheets, you just right-click and rename. We can double-click on them. I'm going to call the first one, say menu. I'm going to call the second one raw data. So that's the data you collect from your questionnaire. Okay, then we need another 4. And you can move them just by clicking and dragging. Almost there. Okay, so you should have about 6 overall. In fact, you're going to need a 7th one. You're going to need a worksheet specifically to prove or disprove your hypothesis as well. Okay, so if we just quickly rename them, I think I'll call this one hypothesis. Oh, it's going to be question 1, question 2, and question 3, and finally question 4. Okay, now that we've set up the structure for our spreadsheet model, we're going to start at the beginning at the menu and kind of work our way through the different worksheets. So on the menu page, what we need to do is essentially create a kind of contents page that we can link to each of these other worksheets. Now to do that, I'm just going to quickly show you one example of how you might do that using some formatting features. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just click and drag over some of these, and I'm just going to fill this in with a color. Okay, so it looks a little less like a spreadsheet and a bit more like maybe a web interface. I'm going to next merge some of these cells to add a title. So I right click, format cells, go to alignment and merge cells. At this point I'm also going to make sure the text appears in the center. And I'm just going to add a title. And then just format that text. Okay, right, next thing I'm going to do is again format another few cells. I'm going to right click, format cells, merge cells, and again I'll put this in the center. Okay. Now in this space, what I'd like you to do is just quickly add in a couple of sentences to say what you've been asked to do. And then finish off the sentence. So in this spreadsheet, I intend to then just explain briefly what you've been asked to do. Underneath that, it would be quite useful to list the questions that Mr. No Idea has set you. And again, you'll need to leave that as general actually. You'll need to get those questions from the handout. It might be easier to actually just quickly drag these down. So there's 4 questions. And again, like I said, you'll need to get those questions from the handout. Next thing we need to do is once you've got some basic information on your menu, is to create a navigation system. To do that, we just need to first of all add a little title up here. And again, I'm just going to merge some cells. And then I'm going to put a little title in there. So this is going to be menu. format it so it's consistent with the rest of the worksheet. And I'm just going to drag that down. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just need one more. And each of these boxes here, what I need to do is just write in the different pages. So it's going to be, I don't need that last one. This is going to be raw data. It's going to be hypothesis, Q1. I think I'm going to need that last one actually. Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now to make this stand out on the page, I'm just going to change the background color so it's a bit easier to see. And I might also just add a border in there. Okay, right, to add a hyperlink, you can either add hyperlink to just the text, or if you click on the cell, you can add a hyperlink to the cell. I'm going to add a hyperlink to the cell. So I press Control K on the keyboard, and then I want to link to a place in this document. So I click on place in this document, and I want to link to the menu page. I then do the same on the rest of the options. Control K on link to the raw data. To link to hypothesis, and so on. Oh, I've just noticed that needs to be renamed. Okay. Control K. And finally, question 4, Control K, and question 4. And I can change the formatting by just, I should be able to by, okay, so I have my menu. Next thing I'm going to do is actually copy and paste my menu onto each of my other pages, apart from the raw data. We're going to add the menu page to the raw data page a bit later. So I just highlight my menu and select Control C. Then I'm going to go to my hypothesis. I'm just making a note of where my menu starts. So it's B6. Go to hypothesis, go to B6 and press Control V. And then Control C again to copy it. Go to question 1, B6, Control V. Question 2, B6. Question 3, and I'm going to B6. Question 4, B6. And now I have a menu on every single page. Let's just see if that works. So click on raw data. Yep. Okay, last thing we're going to do to our menu page is just add a few pictures so it looks a bit easier to sort of look at and interpret what's going on. So I'm just going to go to Google, and it's about gaming and social networking and stuff. So I'm going to maybe get a picture of the games console first of all. Doesn't really matter which. Just copy and paste in. Now, if you want to get rid of the white background, what you can do is use the picture toolbar and select set transparent color. And maybe another appropriate image might be games character. Again, you can put whichever pictures you feel are appropriate. and we have our menu page. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is just one example of how you can lay stuff out. As long as you've got a menu, a title, some information about what's going on in the spreadsheet, perhaps you can add your hypothesis into this section as well, and the 4 questions that are on the on the worksheet, sorry, and you've got a couple of images, that is fine. If you want to have the images up here, if you want to have the menu going across the screen, that's completely up to you. So just to give you a sense of what your spreadsheet should look like at this point, I'm just going to show you an example of a spreadsheet that I've previously done. So I've got my menu, I've got a title, I've got a little bit of information about what I've been asked to do, I've got the 4 questions, and I've got my hypothesis, and you'll notice some pictures down the bottom here. Now, if I go to each of my pages, I've also added a title to each of my pages. On the questions, it would make sense to actually add the question in. Okay, and on the raw data, I've also started to actually format the raw data and do some data analysis, and that is what we'll go on to next.